Today, we are going to be taking a look at some of the crazy, strict rules the Enola Holmes cast had to follow on set. Make sure you stick around because it gets intense. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad Mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. This actually brings us to the first strict rule that the cast of the film had to follow, which is keeping mum. For those of you who don't follow our British vernacular, this simply means that the cast had to keep what they were doing on the down low in an attempt to avoid any spoilers that might leak. The studio didn't want anyone spilling the beans about the title before its release, as this has proven to decrease viewership after all. And although this is a usual rule for actors, actresses, and production staff in the industry, it must be said that the directors of Enola Holmes placed great emphasis on it because of the unusual situation that the film found itself in. Although announced back in 2019, the trailer for Enola Holmes only released in late August of this year, with the movie getting released just a month later in September. Considering that many fans of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle universe didn't even know that Sherlock and Mycroft had a little sister, Netflix chose to go with shock marketing to drum up quick intrigue and cause viewers to flock to the property shortly after its release. What do you know? This absolutely worked, with Enola Holmes grabbing the attention of many a fan. Who knew that keeping mum on the subject would be so important to the grander scheme of things? Second, what lawsuit? On hearing that Enola Holmes is based on the work of Nancy Springer, who is not the original author of the original Sherlock Holmes works, fans of the franchise started to ask questions regarding the validity of the concept. If you heard that J.K. Rowling was writing the last book in the Game of Thrones franchise, you'd probably also have your questions, right? Well, boys and girls, the reason for Nancy Springer being able to force herself into the world created by the original author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, is a little bit complicated, but we'll try our best to summarize the most important aspects thereof. You see, since the original Sherlock Holmes works are so old, they actually aren't covered by copyright law according to a few court rulings that were made back in the early 2010s. As such, Nancy Springer was able to use the world and characters created by Doyle to her advantage, creating a strong female character who was just as brilliant as Detective Holmes himself. And that, boys and girls, was how Enola Holmes was born. It must, however, be said that the late estate of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle did not take the release of this movie lying down, and has filed a lawsuit against Netflix based on its alleged infringement of copyright law. Since there are around 10 stories featuring Sherlock Holmes still owned by Doyle's estate, they might very well have a case here. If this is your first time hearing about this lawsuit, it's probably because of the second strict rule that was enforced upon the cast of Enola Holmes, preventing them from talking to the public about the lawsuit and their knowledge thereof. So if any member of the cast was specifically asked by an interviewer about it, they would have had to hit them back with a no comment. Considering the cancellation culture now rife in the industry, this is probably a good choice by Netflix and the directors of Enola Holmes. Third, promotion at a minute's notice. Whether a movie does well at the physical or virtual box office is completely dependent on two things: the content of the film as well as its promotion. As such, a rule that is usually placed in every actor or actress's contract is the need for them to make themselves available for the promotion of the property when the need arises. Think of the vast number of interviews that the cast of Stranger Things go on just before the release of a new season. This essentially has nothing to do with the actors themselves, but everything to do with hyping up the property to ensure that people watch it. The same can be said about the cast members of Enola Holmes, who were actually told to be ready at a minute's notice in the period just after the trailer had dropped and just before the movie had released on the platform. Considering that the time period was so short, being just under a month, you can see why the cast members had a stricter version of the rule enforced upon them. We are so used to watching a trailer for a movie or series and expecting the property to come out the following year, after all, giving the actors and actresses more than enough time to plan these appearances well in advance. In the case of Enola Holmes, however, things were fast-paced and a lot less simple. But hey, it looks like the enforcement of this rule worked, as seen by Enola Holmes still standing steadfast on the Netflix trending page as we expected it to. Next, don't complain about being uncomfortable. This next rule sounds a bit strange, but it makes a lot of sense when you come to think about it. You see, the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle universe is set in London during the 1800s and, as such, involves the use of some highly uncomfortable costumes. Henry Cavil would have been absolutely fine, as the men of the age mostly wore suits and petticoats, which isn't drastically different from what he wears on the red carpet. It's not as comfortable as track pants, obviously, but it's far from the worst. The women of the age were, however, afforded less of a luxury when it comes to clothing. clothing, often having to squeeze themselves into corsets and other uncomfortable outfits in an attempt to make their chests appear smaller and waists appear tighter. Oh, the horror. This means that cast members such as Millie Bobby Brown and Helena Bonham Carter had to be told from the start that by taking the roles on, they would have to be comfortable with spending a lot of time in these uncomfortable outfits. In other words, no complaints, ladies. Thank you, cast members of Enola Holmes, for sacrificing your comfort for our enjoyment. Then there's catering to Millie. Considering how incredibly popular Millie Bobby Brown has become over the past couple of years, it's sometimes tough to remember that she's only 16 years old. So, what does this mean for schooling? Has Millie left school in an attempt to make it big in Hollywood? Or does she have to handle both a full-time job and homework at the same time? Well, boys and girls, Millie has actually been homeschooled for the last 5 years, ever since her breakout role as 11 in the Stranger Things universe. She has actually said in a tweet that she loves being homeschooled, and while it doesn't always work for everyone, it definitely works for her due to her busy schedule. This is why the directors of Enola Holmes made sure to protect Millie by creating a strict rule to be specifically enforced against her. What was this rule? Well, simply put, they wanted Millie to ensure that as busy as she was on set, she would never fall behind on her curriculum. Education is important after all. Last but not least, the surety of a sequel. Ever since the concept of Enola Holmes was introduced to the world, we knew that it was going to be a raging success. Everyone loves Sherlock Holmes after all, so why wouldn't they love a popular teenager who is just as brilliant as him set in the same universe? It's a goldmine of an idea, and what property could possibly fail with a cast of actors and actresses such as Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavil, Helena Bonham Carter, and Sam Claflin? When you work with a number of famous actors and actresses, however, you do open yourself up to some possible filming contentions. It's not like these actors are twiddling their thumbs at home after all, as they have a number of projects they're working on. Look at Henry Cavill, for example, who has taken on the role of Superman once more and is currently filming the much-anticipated second season of The Witcher. Millie Bobby Brown, on the other hand, is currently filming the 4th installment of Stranger Things and is one of the most popular child actors of our time. That wraps up the video, people. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple.